Alrighty, hello, hello. Welcome to anyone who chat. Um, yes. Like the thumbnail says, I will be playing Katawa Shoujo today. I've never played this game. I've never actually really played any what um. Anyway, um, like I said, this is my first playthrough of Katawa Shoujo. I've heard a ton of good good things about this game, and I'm really looking forward to it. A couple other things that I do want to announce while I'm here. um, hold on. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was responding to someone on Discord. Anyway, I do have a review. If you seen one of my latest posts on X, I announced it there. But I came back from watching Animal Farm. I actually had a short work day today, so I decided to go out and watch the movie. And oh boy, I'm not going to spoil what I think of the movie, but oh gosh. Anyway, um, huh. Oh yeah, just safe to say I have a lot of choice words for this so-called adaptation. Um, and I do plan on watching the original Animal Farm. The original adaptation, I've heard that one is really good. So, yeah. Um, let's go ahead. Let's see. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that I want to talk about before I get into the game? Hmm. Um, I think that's all. Let's see. I went through the review. I've got the review all filmed. I'm going to be editing that and getting it out tomorrow. I do need to make the thumbnail tomorrow too, or I can do that after. Excuse me. Oh yeah. This one is. I'm gonna be. In this review, I've got the trailer on silent playing on repeat in the background, so there's gonna be multiple things that there's actually gonna be something playing instead of still images like I usually do. I'm gonna see how that format does, because I just might do that for future reviews. Talk as the trailer is playing on in the background. I'll see how that does. Um, anyway, yeah. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to Katawa Shoujo, shall we? All right. Alright, I do want to move myself. Let me shrink myself. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's see here. Alright. Options. Text speed, auto mode. Okay. Okay. Alright. Return. Alright. Let's go ahead and start. Alright. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here, anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of incentive. Okay. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only signs of time passing in this stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rushing of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone's approaching me from behind. Hi, Heiso. You came. A hesitation, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that daintily voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than eavesdrop to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, and a voice in my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Iwanako. Iwanako. I'm sorry if I butchered that. I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyless smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. My heart is pounding now as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for herself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, this wind stirs up the branches. The kind of copious noise is music to my ears. I Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine as she lazily twirls her long dark hair around her finger. Excuse me. All while the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond this breaking point. Hito? I reach up to try to message my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along to my arms. Hiso? My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shot up in terror. Hiso? The beating in my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky running towards me, all those fade to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds Iwanako screaming for help as the incessant clatter of the branches above. Okay. Four Leaf Studios presents Katawa Shoujo. That was an interesting opening. Inspiration. The music is nice. Engineering Delta. Okay. Productions. Well, it's been 4 months since my heart attack. Hmm. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arithema. A strange word, a foreign alien one that you don't want to be in, one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition that causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently, I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better and more appreciative of my life. Really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had two hemorrhages apiece. I already had a full day. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything to them. It was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I was first admitted, it felt like I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all of the get well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Iwanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on the snowy day ever again. The hospital. It's not really a place I like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they are in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of an omen. I still ask that head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. Started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mess. I was trapped inside instead of moving within. A week could go by without me barely really noticing. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crush into my conscience through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he was trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I last see them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is a ritual the head of cardiologist has. He takes this time sorting his papers and setting them aside is to make a point of setting them aside as if to make a point of this pointlessness of what he just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eye for a moment. Hello, Hiso. How are you doing? How are you today? I didn't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is strong now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We all have your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look for myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's so futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All of this, for the rest of my life, every day. I'm afraid that is the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Please calm down, Hiso. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down. The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whether my concern shows, it's ignored. Well, we all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that's it's. Oh, excuse me. I don't think par- your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we are sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school named Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What am I? It's a 24-hour nursing staff and it's only a few minutes from the highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to be home to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and well, it's not the same one. A special school, that's an insult. That's what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of our graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in the other hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of the question now. It's funny, I'd always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame the lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now, something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know how it's futile. I look around the room feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a chance I know this. There isn't really a choice I know this. But the thought of going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on it, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think of to get me through this. And at least I still have something, even if it's a special school. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to just resign myself to thinking that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. Good opening to the game. Okay. Finished the prologue. The gate looked far too pompous for what it was. In fact, gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate for a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably no. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for too long, so I entered, though, with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walk towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with this brisk pace. I'm alone as my parents are taking my stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have, more like a park with a clean walkway going past trees and the small smell of fresh cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hygienic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off. Stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies. Too big and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley, even though I was told this is my new school. In the back of my head, it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was somebody here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about hospitals again. It makes me think about hospitals again, how they say that the operating room are painted green because green is a calming color. So why am I feeling so anxious despite all the greenery? Sorry. Only after I stand in front of the haughty main building, I surprised myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous, and with this realization set on my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Naki. So you are excellent. I'm your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Moto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get along and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me, I don't really like being in the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teacher is saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? What? Do I have to? Of course not. That's why I asked. Right. Let's go then. Mara is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher up the stairs. The third door down the third floor corridor is marked as the classroom for class 3-3. Walter opened the door. Oh my god, sitting for too long. Okay. Makes me tired. Molto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late again. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Get a grip. This is a big step. I know that, but there isn't any point to worrying so much about it. At least not this soon. I follow the teacher into the classroom and look around, partially so I won't have to meet the curious gaze of my new classmates. It's pretty spacious, the ceiling is unusually high, and there are lots of space left over around and in between the two desks. An entire wall taken up by blackboards and high old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wood desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs with metal frames. Simple and efficient. I stopped walking in front of the classroom and faced the other students. They all look normal like students in any school, but then why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then I noticed that one of the girls seems to be missing the thumb of her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. And I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands as if it will make her invisible. There was one boy with a cane leaning against the locker at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions, sign language. She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of cute, so is the cheery-looking girl with pink hair sitting. Sorry, she's really hard. She's kind of cute, so is the cheery-looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. Oh. He claps his hands, and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hit it by bowing in thanks to the applause I did not deserve. After the applause, there is a brief silence, and nobody seems to want to be responsible for breaking. The teacher soon realizes that he should probably say something. He opens up with some unintelligible noise, shuts up as he loses his momentum, and then starts introducing me. Nobody seems to be too interested. Maybe I should have said yes to the self-introduction thing. Probably realizing he doesn't know anything about me, he just ends up saying my name wrong again and asks me to write it on the blackboard. I do that and turn back to face the class feeling awkward. I listen to the teacher as he drones on about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently. When he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her one hand against her other wrist that ends up a bandaged stump. It makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so I'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yes, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with him, but that? What is that? Hold on. Oh. Ah. Ah. Sorry about that. I thought there was something under my desk. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She is the class representative. Excuse me. She can explain anything you might want to know, and who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignments and announces that we will be working in groups of 3. It hits me that I don't know who Hakimichi is. Slow, the teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. All right, Hakamichi is right there. Suzuna Hakamichi. I'm just gonna say Michi. It's a lot easier. Ah! As he calls out her name, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Michi, right? It's nice to meet you. Ha ha. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but I'm not Michi. It's Misha. This is Michi, Shinichi. Giggling, Michi points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she has been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short yet carefully kneaded brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on top of a dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seem to alternate every few seconds between analytically and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha and smiles and makes a quick gesture with her hands. Michi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you? I can see you're a little confused, right? But I understand why you would think of Shi-chan is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Shichin-chan, of course he is. If he wasn't, he would have been standing up there. He wouldn't be standing up there for no reason, right? Misha looks at me with a weird expression, then continues. We don't know much about him, but maybe we'll find out later. Maybe I should have introduced myself after all. Anything would have been given a better first impression than the teacher drone and fumbling with my name. We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today so soon. He-chan, right? He-chan? Yep, it fits. She doesn't it? She fits it, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I've never liked that nickname. I don't really see how. It fits. You look just like I imagined. You look like just like He-chan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Michi taps her finger on the desk to get Misha's attention. The gesture back and forth to each other, excitedly, their hands a blur. Misha seems a little overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Shi-chan wants you to know that she's the class rep. If there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? Do you like the school so far? We can show you around a little if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out on her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, but thanks. That would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just kind of came straight to class today. Oh, excuse me. That's not good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school either. Always, even it's a trip to the convenience store. Even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Si-chan? Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, and even if I committed myself to go along with it, half-assedly, but anyway, I don't see anything, and Misha signs something that ends with a shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal. As much as needing help, stop looking like. Hold on. Asking for help is pretty normal. As much as needing help, stop looking like you just failed the test. Ah, she's peachy. All right. Another thing, you don't have to call Si-chan something so formal like Michi or class rep all the time. Just call her Si-chan. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Suzune would be more appropriate. Yep, Suzune. Okay, that would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly, so... So I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier, especially about Suzune, who I assume would be all business. Well, she still seems like that, just less so, I guess. Oh, right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Shi-chan will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, so we should start now if you want to finish before the end of class. That too. Suzune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know the sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. Suzune. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today. The assignment is actually... What is with me right now? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. So we finish in a few minutes early than everyone else in the class despite our late start. Suzune and Misha are very capable. They're quite different though. The class rep and is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish. Not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. Oh, excuse me. The clock tower bells ring, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where we met Muto down to the bottom floor. Just like everything in the school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its its big windows open the courtyard toward the main gate. It's the cafeteria. Uh, Her enthusiastic oh. Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. Alright, I need to get a drink real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Alright. There's a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realized that many of them are to accommodate students who need special diets. How nice, it almost feels like I'm back at the hospital and eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the needs of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Suzune to a table sitting opposite of her. As I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha pokes me in the side to get my attention and points to Suzune. I don't understand signs, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite. Do you want to know something? What? About anything, we're your guides, so you should ask if there is something. I wonder. I think. Oh yeah, there's a library at the school lately. I've gotten into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Misha gives the kind of frown that makes it clear she doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again. There it is. There it is. It's in the second floor. We can show it to you sometime. Thanks. I return to my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Suzune sign back and forth, very animatedly, throwing sideways glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about a secret girl stuff or something. I quickly notice the conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. The dark-haired girl I noticed before is slumped over her desk at the last row. She jumps a little and Misha crashes into the room with the elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly turning into stone just from our presence. Misha and Susan either don't notice or don't mind it as they talk directly past her to the seats to begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her, or even the classroom slowly fills with other students and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of the class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that makes me like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. Before long, the final bell rings. School is finally over for the day. Besides me, Misha and Susan are having a short combination. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today, Hee-chan. We've got to hurry already, since there's a lot of work for us to do. You'll find your way around, I'm sure of it. Ah, wait, the teacher said I'd have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Hold on. Sorry about that. Jeez, okay. Yeah, but the dogs were barking at something. I had to figure out what it was. Alright, back to the game. Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside. We joined the flow of students making their way down the stairwell and outside, with the girls pointing out other senior classrooms in the same hallway as ours. When we get outside, the girls make their way to a smaller building right next to the school. It's built in the same style, so it looks like it actually is part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. This is a lot of official and important stuff inside, like the Yamaku Foundation office and all of the nurse's office. They even have a swimming pool. How is that official? Don't be silly, Hee-chan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyway, all the nursing staff facilities are in there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going then. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with the actual education. I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in hoping that this really will only be a quick visit, like the teacher said. On a white door on the left is a green cross with the text "Head Nurse" and a nameplate. A voice from the inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself further in. The room is not large and it smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his office chair and faces me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there are at least a dozen coffee cup rings lingering on the desk. Someone needs a coaster. Hello there, what can I do for you today? He is younger looking and sort of rugged, but the dimples on his cheeks wash that impressed away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who has heard this very same question hundreds of times. Why, yes, I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by the name or just the nurse like everyone else. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I probably should grab his extended hand. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I should grab his extended hand, but I say shake. It is rather firm and friendly. Right, I'm a new student, and my homeroom teacher told me to come and meet you. My name is Hisho Nakai. His eyes light up with revelation, and he snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Nakai. I was just reading your file in the morning. Some kind of chronic arrhythmia related to congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures me sit down in the vacant armchair in front of his desk. Ah, yes. Good, well, you've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of facilities available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there is a problem. The famous 24-hour nursing staff. Wow, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do brain surgery here. His joke feels like out of place. I'm left thinking, why he even said it? Yeah, just that it's really weird to have so many medical people at the school. You'll get used to it. I'm not so sure of that myself, but I didn't let the nurse know that. Now let me just find your file again. While he searches for something from his computer, he shuffles back his papers around. I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I'd like to say. Beige walls and ceiling, dark gray laminate flooring, and all the equipment you'd expect from a school nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters are hanging on all four walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day and from all food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick files and opens it. So you already have medication for the arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening, or it won't be much help. Apart from that, do you do any sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing? He grins to his own jokes, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Alright, I'm afraid I'm going to have to recommend you refrain from doing that, at least for the time being. Oh. My lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow, but really, I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. I guess I never did it out of burning passion for the sport, just to have something to do. Any kind of concession might be very dangerous to your heart, and risking another attack is not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by a conscience to the chest area? There is no mention of the cause in your papers. Not exactly. I sidestep the question acceptably, and he glances at me over my papers with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do you good. We have physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you really need such heavy measures. Just get some light exercise regularly. Brisk squats or even light jogging, jump roping, as sort of thing. Swimming, maybe. There's a pool here. So I was told. You were very good. At any rate, I'm sure you've been told this before. You just need to take care of not overexerting yourself. He waves his finger to emphasize the point. No need really. I've heard this 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risk. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk. Obviously content. Good, That's it then. Come meet me if you ever need something. I'm ushered out before I realize it. I ushered out before I even realize it. A quick visit indeed. I end up standing in the front main build. Oh, hello. Okay, that's a weird thing to comment on. But glad you're here. I end up standing in front of the main building, an auxiliary building, although to my eyes they still look one and the same. And if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to ask, so don't worry about it. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch people coming out of the school, going towards the gate or the dorms. Everyone seems to know where they are going, and I still keep thinking what most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? I should go somewhere too to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The wariness only grows as I trudge towards the dorms set a little way apart from the main building complex. Hold on. I need to... Sorry. There is a garden of sorts between the school and a dorm shrubbery, flowers, and that overbearing smell of fresh cut grass that fills the atmosphere. It dawns on my tired mind that the smell feels novel because I've been outside at all for so long. The dorm building is big and made of red bricks. Like the others, it feels way too pompous for what it is, so I push forward going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Room 119. Despite the ornate exterior, the inside of the dorm is fairly new, functional, and boring. Just like the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs, and the same goes for the elevators the same goes for the elevators at the end of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. Seems that the other girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs to the upper floor. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seem to have a toilet and shower as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall, I spy room 119. Nameplate on the rooms adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are only 2 of us here. Light shines from below the door of room 117, so I knock lightly. Hello, is anyone home? From inside I hear a few moments, then the clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a moment, the door squeaks open. A bespectacled boy is standing in the doorway. He's looking at me very intently through his extremely thick eyeglasses. Who is it? Blind? No, at least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses if he was? His lens goes to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. He's so Nakai. I'm moving into the next room. I thought I should introduce His face suddenly brightens in realization, and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out and smile, greeting almost straight to my diaphragm. Oh, sup, dude? The name is Kenji. Ah, hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hand and shake it, still rattled by the sudden exchange of attitude and being welcome. There were some suspicious-looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It was probably my parents. Your parents, you sure? Because they could have been some other people too. You can't judge a book by its cover. It's out of place proverb is left hanging between us awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the choices are high enough. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Hiso. Me, I don't think I could trust the chances. The only ones I trust him is myself. Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? He thinks about this for a while. A wise decision. Damn, you are smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodge it. Never mind, it doesn't matter. With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search of the door handle, and shuts the door behind him. I slide the key into the lock of the door marked 119. Beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room impersonal like my hospital room was. My bags are sitting on the foot of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stacked with my clothes. Also, it seems that there are a number of school uniforms hanging there as well. A note is pinned to the sleeve of my shirt. Hi, Hichan. We've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that if these don't fit, then you should go to the office tomorrow. If you have any problems, you can always call us. Love, Mom and Dad. Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. I kind of hoped I would have, then there would be something to do. It's still too early. I put the note down on the desktop and lie down on the bed, feeling drained. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. I wonder if the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whatever I have nothing to do. The restless urge keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's stress or something. Excuse me. I was pretty nervous about it before coming, and for the entire day today, too. I was pretty nervous about it before coming, and for the entire day today, too. I still am, I think. Damn, I have to distract myself somehow. I won't be this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow I'll go borrow some books from the library. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now, the bottle of medications neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I pick up one and shake it just to hear the contents rattle inside, and then read the glued on pharmacy label. Hasuniko, 2 tablets daily to stay alive. It doesn't really say that, but it could just as well. It's kind of twisted having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? With a sigh, I begin my new daily routine of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosage. I lie down again, feeling hollow and uncertain. And after that, I keep staring at the black, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar even after darkness fails and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. The sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm and nest-like against the chill that passed for room temperature here. Soon the lighter shade of darkness that is ceiling looks like every ceiling does at night, and it becomes the only thing I recognized anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I keep drifting further away from the world I knew. Katawa Shoujo. Was that just the introduction? Because if that was hour and 15 minutes worth of an introduction. I wake up in a strange room. Solid morning, light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I had forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. This is my room, isn't it? My room. Oh. This is the third room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me that indeed it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bag's on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medications on the right table. Staring at the bottles for a moment, deliberating until I open a bottle to shake out a pill and pop out a tablet from the foil sheet. I down them with a chase of water without thinking about the chemistry. My uniforms are in the closet. I stink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh clothes against my back is a good one, a natural one. Feels like a school uniform as it should. It's not much different from what I used to wear before. That goes for other things too. So far, this place seems more or less like a normal school, except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kenji yesterday. Misha's constantly laughter and Suzune's sweeping sign language gestures. Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure others are. Excuse me. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here. Yeah, what does pass for normal around here? What do people do? I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after class yesterday, so maybe there's clubs. If so, I wonder if I should join one. All through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decided to ask Suzune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. She crosses her arms and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind the eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfectly and finely flat. Sorry. Is there something you wanted from me? Oh, I see. That's a good question. My first thought is to mean she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyway, Misha, please don't prove me right. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there isn't really anything else to do. There are also school events like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student at the school tends to help out with it, doing whatever. So you actually transferred at a busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes. Well, I don't know, Hichan. The truth is it's a local event and I'm not from this area, so... She starts signing desperately to Suzune after asking her to bail her out. Suzune adjusts her glasses at the end of an oddly gratuitous flourish and starts signing hard and heavy. Who cares? Misha puffs her chest as she shouts Suzune's words out at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud, I can see hands turning to look in our direction. Not so loud. Oh. Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind the festival will inevitably change with time. Now it's about delicious fried. Now it's about delicious fried food. And amusing little games that you play to win prizes. The teacher clears his throat very loudly, battling his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton. He shouts and pointed a gaze at us. Final noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Susan A doesn't feel embarrassed at all, although brushes it off without a care. We are in the middle of class and should start working. That's right. What's that? Hichan, are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? It could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchange between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that very other word anyway. It does that every other word anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Susan look at each other again. I'm about to ask what they have in mind, and something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a girl with long dark hair getting up from her desk and slips silently towards the door. It doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her. I glance at the teacher, who is also looking at the dark-haired girl go, why doesn't he say anything? Is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me, looking after the girl who left? No, nothing. Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch day, right? I thought would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. Hey. Oh. Yeah. Okay, Hichan, perfect. The rest of the class passes on eventfully, and the girl with the long hair never came back. Before I have the time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Looks more like a little annoyed. We just barely managed to finish all our work on time. I'm just glad we finished it at all. It's not a contest or anything. Yes, it's Hichan. Possible. Really? I've noticed it before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be so Susan can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hand and me. I don't know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Susan A. I'm used to looking at the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really. Susan A. can't hear me, but it would be disrespectful to talk to her and only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing, and it will take some time to get used to. It's not contest because contests are competitive competitions over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, it's not really a contest. Susan's eyes flash dangerously with competitive glare. She stares at me as if surprised I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. Are you sure, Hichan? Very sure. You're wrong, Hichan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities. The prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Wahahaha. Shizune pushes her glasses up and bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. argue more, but the bell rings and she quickly gets up and picks up her bag and looks at me expectantly. I'd almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Where do you want to eat? The cafeteria. That's so plain. Okay, let's go. Plain. Well, I guess at my old school, I'd like to eat outside near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until near the end of my freshman year. I wonder if there's a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Today, Misha pulled one toward the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed. Maybe some students favor eating in classrooms or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had box lunches. After we finish eating, Misha picks up where we left earlier. So, Hee-chan, you wanted to know about the clubs and outfits, right? Right, Hee-chan. Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask first. Okay. Exchangeable nods confirmation. They turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she's about to deliver a speech. Hee-chan, do you have anything you're really interested in? Excuse me. I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I usually just like to read a lot. Oh. There's a book club, right? Hee-chan? Right. Oh, crap. I accidentally didn't mean to do that. Ah, okay, but more to the point. Hee-chan, does this mean that you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Good, great, that's great. Hee-chan, really great. Why is it so great? No reason. Well, Hee-chan, other than clubs and upcoming festivals, there's only one other thing. Student council. I see. I didn't know this school had a student council. That's very melodramatic setup. Though, just tell me that. Pretty sure the two of them know this because Suzanne looks very embarrassed about it and Misha is laughing. Suzanne quickly retakes control of the discussion. In a matter of speaking, after all, it's still Misha who has to voice whatever she says. Haha. Right. I did it again. Why? Well, for one, we could hang out every day. Hee-chan, and I are both in the student council. Actually, Hee-chan is the president. I'm starting to get the suspicion that Caesar and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about this with. As if reading my mind, Susan quickly adjusts her glasses and signs immediately to Misha. Of course we're not trying to get you to join just because we will. Of course we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from you joining the student council and therefore have an incentive to try to get you to. So you're admitting that? No, we admitted nothing. I mean, Hee-chan, of course it would be nice if you joined and we appreciate it. But even without all, the joining student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of the school. Yep, it's true. Yep, it's true, Hee-chan. Besides, you don't want to spend time with us after... It's true, Hee-chan. Besides, you don't want to spend time with us after school, Hee-chan. I can't tell if she was being genuine or if this is really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look their cutest, although they are already pretty cute. Well, so it's settled then. Welcome to student council. What? No! Oh, Of course it wouldn't go so easily. Yep, that's right. Though it would be boring if it went that smoothly. Oh well. Owes me one candy. You're betting on it? Hey, my life is not a game here. Seems very intrigued by this whole Misha signs to her. The aggressive glint returns to her eye. The interesting Heatron, let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Heatron? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Oh, why not? Well, because you two both have the same incentive and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Yep. Yeah, this isn't my goal, but what this means is that both of you can team up and I'll be a clear disadvantage, so I will have to decline. I'm very offended. Are you saying you don't trust us, that we would pull something so disingenuous? That makes me sad. Sorry. It's hard to tell where Suzune's influence ends and Misha's thought begins. In order to atone for hurting a young girl's feelings, you should definitely join the student council. No! How about a game of paper football? Instead of rich man, poor man, paper football. Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle, and then you try to shoot it past the goalpost, and the other player makes with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's an ultimate form of competitive between two people, Hichan. That's also played by elementary and middle school children. That means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyway, I'm not going to play that either. It's just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good at it. Yeah, that's true. How did you know? Frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit it so readily. I wouldn't say that I'm happy with their attempts to get me to the student council, but I'm a little curious about what the student council does here. I've never been on one myself, or even known anybody who was a member. So, it interests me. It interests me. I also kind of like. I also kind of like Suzune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Hichan, how about Risk? The game of world domination. I don't know what that is. It's really fun. Hichan, you fight for control of the world with armies and everything. Sounds like Suzune would be good at it. If you want to play, we can after school. We can play just for fun. Hichan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want to, there's no strings attached. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. We'll see you after school in the student council room then, Hichan. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. Ha 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 ha. I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more of a show. It's more for show than anything. So in the end, I agree, but only after getting Suzune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete, just by accepting to take a look around and play a game with her. Lunch ends and we go back to class. During afternoon class, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice, or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Susie and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I'd be considering it. Nevertheless, I'm a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past that they're on their guard. What's with the escort? It doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to a cell. Waha, what's wrong, Hichan? That's right, we're just going to play a game of Risk, remember? I don't know, Misha, this all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to join the student council. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason... Oh, crap, I accidentally pressed the button again. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What? What's that? This makes you guys being so on top of me is a little silly. That's not true. Shichan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown the capability to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. Life is threatened? Her expression unchanging, Misha signs something amusing to Susan, who makes a baffling face and puts her hands behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misa feigns deafness and hums cheerily. Stop that! I know you heard me when you have no excuse, unlike Suzune. Opens door in the student council room. It's a very plain, sparsely decorated room, although it's quite large, maybe even a little larger than the classroom. There's a big table at the center surrounded by chairs and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Suzune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side, as well as extras perhaps. Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer. Just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old school records and documents. Not much else, in fact. Nothing else. Excuse me. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put a potted plant here or something, but the most noticeable thing that this room doesn't have is other people. Are we early? No. What do you mean, no? Does it mean nobody else is coming today? Oh, no. Yeah, that's right. Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Susie claps her hands together very energetically. Hee-chan, let's play risk. Come on. You promised, didn't you? You have to. Okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain to you while we set everything up. While Misha's taking, Susie takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Actually, it looks like this is kind of interesting. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Suze cuts in and declares the game has been started with a decisive motion slicing her arms through the air. Suzune's aggressiveness is rubbing off on me. I started feeling more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Halfway into the game, while I was trying to ponder how to defend against Suzune's assault from 2 fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Hee-chan wants you to know that you are taking too long to make a move. Also says that she will let you keep Australia if you agree to join the student council. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no. Admire your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you really join the student council. You're so competitive, Suzune. She seems to take this as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous. Magnanimous? She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed, as she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Suzune, who in return signs back to Misha. Misha presses her index fingers against her temples as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Suzune bursts into a furious gesture as Misha looks daunted by the pace of her heated signaling. Oh wait, please slow down, you're going to lose! Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Okay. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischief. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. She's either really mocking me or trying to trick me. I have nothing else to lose, though, so I might as well try something different. Maybe if I spread my forces to try to control more territories, I can regroup. Oh gosh, let me. Oh, excuse me, sorry about that. Maybe if I spread out my forces to try to control more territories, I can recoup the advantage. Susanne seems to focus on conquering whole nations, so maybe I can't sacrifice my holds on continents to gain more small countries. It's worth a shot. A few turns later, I end up losing the game anyway. Susanne adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist into the air into celebration. I win, yay! There's no need to translate that, it was pretty clear. Don't look sad, Hee-chan, you were really giving it your best, that's what I thought. Sometimes your best just isn't good enough, though. If anyone knows that, it's me. You did very well for someone who just learned how to play today. Hee-chan, you attacked Iceland and North America at the same time. That's a very daring move, Hee-chan is impressed. The mark of a great people is the way they are daring, and you can follow through. You're already halfway there, isn't that great, Hee-chan? That isn't enough, though. Just potential is enough. There is no point to potential if you don't take the first step, and there is no point to that if you don't keep going. I want to see more. You're right, Hee-chan, but that's so demanding. Leans forward, suddenly looking a lot less playful, more like a serious person I expect her to be from the start. Would you like to join us? She really doesn't waste any time, does she? But it's my only second day of school, so I'm hesitant about committing to something so early. I haven't even taken a look at the other clubs yet. But spending time with Susan and Misha doesn't seem like something I would hate. I still need more time to think about it before I decide for sure. Maybe I'll get back to you on it. Okay. But I hope you're not just saying that so we don't feel bad. No, really? Really? If you're going to say that, you're saying that it's definitely not the truth and there can't be any mistaking it. I know, I guess I should have my revenge for losing at the very least. Smiles at that in a mischievous way and feels like twisting a knife in the wound of my loss. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I've spent far longer playing Risk than I expected. Sorry, I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? And just Misha, how hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right. We think the library is open. It's on the second floor. Can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No thanks, it's okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. One flight of stairs up and I run into problems. Second floor hallway is a carbon copy of the third floor one. Wide, of course, and plain like only hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class belongs to, but then there's a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them, or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the letter and chose my direction at random. After I turn the corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though it's barely ajar so that I can see it's open and nothing inside. It would make sense for the library door to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite, that it's not good enough. At the very least, it means that something is inside and it can ask for directions no matter how embarrassing that is. I generally push the center of the door with my fingertips. Every muscle is in my arm, ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to this school can't be shaken from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. This door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep, deep sleep, though it is much easier to open than I anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head and further inside, gaining the sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. Okay, who's she? This is not as I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to a full extent, taking the side of the solitary figure, taking center stage, as I was abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway, staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently, having taken her time to assess the situation, the girlie gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there, may I help you? Staring directly in front of herself, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than the words. However, it's a soft, measured voice that reminds me she's being separate from the room itself. Not only is she like the tallest girl I'd ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi, sorry for intruding. I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite of her, the girl resting the teacup and saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That and the slightest cloudness of her eyes means she must be at least partially blind like Kanji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is very different from the student council room. I take it you're a new student, Yamaku. Yeah, I was just transferred in yesterday. I get this instant feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers, adjacent by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Luli Sato, pleased to meet you. Haso Heso Nakai. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pains me, I can't keep step with formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out along a shelf. A brush here, a brush there, her left hand often lightly touching the side of whichever container she's pouring into, seems to be the process she's following dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her back, she seems to use her long, dainty fingers to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Suzune and Mishu have no problem working together to communicate to me. Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I've never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of the offerer preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observance. Which room were you looking for? It's not often the classroom is visited after school. The school library, Susan and me, some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring the water into a teacup as she nods. A small metallic tipping coming from the teacup indicates it's being stirred. I'm aware, Miss Hamachi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Moto. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him, most do. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring it up. Nonetheless, it smells quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke down. Thanks, Sato. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of her face. Lily, please, there's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try and ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes. Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by Miyugi and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Sorry. I feel like slapping myself for the fox past looking at her face, though she doesn't seem to be in the least bit put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Sure, sorry, I guess I'm really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems all too ready to jump ship from this particular topic, I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her vision of the place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. I come here fairly often during lunchtimes. My duties as class representatives don't leave enough time for official clubs, so a friend and I use this room for having tea. Class representatives, huh? Compared to Suzune, her mannerism seems to be almost completely opposite. While Suzune's blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for a less biased view of the school's clubs. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field, which uses the field near the school during lunchtime. The baseball club and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, though, such as the art and music clubs. At a time when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if the school shares the same rule as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. Good, that's a relief. I've really let down my guard around this girl. To let such a thing slip out, the fact she seems slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. As I look over the window over her shoulder, I notice the light coming into the room from a distinct orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. The time's gone quickly. Sorry. Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of time. Sorry, Hiso, I didn't mean to keep you up from the library so long. I quickly moved to Palais I quickly moved to allay her concern. Ah, no, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think on it. It's probably something I should have asked Susan when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True, it's open till 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms that I have all enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking with you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Well, unless my navigator skills fail me, which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's all right. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It gets pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then that'd be great. Thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight retractable cane that had been slipped in the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. It must be for support, whereas Lily's is for navigation. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallways on the way to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers. We slowly walk through the hallway. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door in the warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Excuse me. Ladies first. She gives an impressive smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left is the wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my old school's library, with the distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. There don't seem to be a lot of students here, considering the time. It is a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says it to thin air, since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out of the and bounces up to extreme rigid attention. Hi, Lily, how can I help you? Her voice strained, a failing attempt to sound casual, and she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange sound. It's nothing. I just hit my head. I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for a pencil, a pencil dropped. When I was looking for both of them, you came in and surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. There's nothing. I've had worse happen to me. She's quick to reverse Lily's apologies almost frantically, trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head on the counter. Yes, worse things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles more papers around the counter for no reason. Let me take a drink real quick. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles, and a very troubled look. She seems to fit a library perfectly. Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right, they finally came in. I can't believe it took so long, but and Mr. Celebrations, partially for managing to change the topic, I'm sure she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on the spot when she does. Oh, no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check out a book or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so quickly shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me, Yuko. This is Hiso. He's a new student. Hiso, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Ah, Hiso, right. Hiso, pleased to meet you too. Hiso? For a second, she visibly tends to engrave the name on her mind so she won't forget it. Yuko often arranges to import foreign books in Braille for me. Would you like to tell Hiso a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject terror. Lily, please, please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How's it a responsibility at all? I don't get it, but her objection is so sincere, I don't doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on the spot than tell me where the light novels are. But, so there's a lot of books in Braille here? I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that props into my mind. Seems to work at least partially, as Yuko seems to. Not exactly relaxed, but at least looks slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or fourth of Yamaku's book library is either Braille or audio. Makes sense given all the blind students that be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is so adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more time on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve all of them. It's so troublesome, and they weigh so much. I wish I could quit this job. A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow hallways, I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read the blurb, taking it with me if it looks good. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for choice here. The normality of the library sinks in. Sure, there are large prints and Braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is. A library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lily snuck with us in here, unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner at the back. While the rest of the library has odd students sitting at a desk, either reading or stealthily sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of several bean bags. It's a dark-haired girl from the class, the one who snuck out of the classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as a more delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly but surely towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself. There's no harm in introducing myself as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and I lay my books beside it. The girl starts looking scarily up at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face is at least third, if not half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scars, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. For a second, I'm shocked and diverted my eyes to the book in her hands before I realize that looking away probably makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect myself. Remember, I walked up to her for... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. It's okay. The girl certainly doesn't look like it's okay, but I let it slide. So, do you mind if I sit here? She seems very uncertain whether it's okay or not for me to sit, but finally she nods just a little. Okay. I take the seat next to her, and she hides herself behind her book. Life of P. Never heard of it. So, sorry again for starting you. I'm Hiso. She looks up her book, stalling a little before replying. I know. We are in the same class. Her speech stilted and so quiet that it barely audible even in a still library. Somehow I think that my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Hanako, I'm Hanako. I reached the urge to say, that's a nice name, just to have something to say, but really it's the only thing I can think of. I feel like an idiot. Everyone here must be used to being different to each other, and I'm here being all bothered and fussed about that kind of thing. Don't let me interrupt your reading. I just checked these books, if you don't mind. She nods a little and sighs a little sigh of relief. So I try to read the covers and the introductions of the books I picked up, and she buries her face in her book. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. My eyes still wander to her direction, and I sneak peeks at her flowing hair and the scars it's hiding. After a while, I realize that she's doing the same and only pretending to be immersed in Life of P. Her gaze is not in question at all, though. It darts around like a scared rabbit. When her gaze finally meet, the chain reaction is unstoppable. Forcefully from the beanbag and takes a deep breath. I've got to go do something. Without warning, Hanko takes off and runs towards the counter. Her hair, like takeoff, catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. By the time I reach the counter, she's nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you see or notice the girl run past here? Maybe. What did she look like? Long hair, long dark hair, kind of shy. She had, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear, Yuko, would you excuse me? I had better try and find her. Sure, I just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. Hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing. I was just looking for some books, and then she got this fit and ran off. The most offending thing I can think of is when I might have looked at her general direction a few times. Well, she is a very timid girl. You have to be very careful around her. She can be very jumpy, I think, and she's not accustomed to talking with other people. Is that a bit strange? I wonder. It's just how she is, I think. Yuko doesn't sound all convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. Everyone has their own problems, or else they wouldn't be here. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casual only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something too, but resists it. I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. Guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. It makes me smile, and she blushes heavily. What? Did that sound stupid? No, it's not really wise. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anything else. Neither of us have anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence of shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on their desks really like doing that. Did you find any books? Should I be closing soon? I mean, this library should be closing, but I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because I'll just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from beside the beanbags where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too, honestly, at least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time early this year, so I just kind of started reading books to fill the time. I couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else and just checks out my books for me. I guess this is what they call tact. Holding the library books with one arm, I trail my pocket for the key to the door. A sudden sound from behind me startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying or the key that I almost managed to get into the lock. Who is it? Oh no. I turn around to see who is talking to me. It's Kanji. He seems to be in a friendly mood, although the light glinting of his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. This makes him pause and licks his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone called me. Are you the new guy again? His voice suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we met before yesterday. I don't think so. I would remember someone who I met only yesterday. When was that? What day is it today? I tried to ignore him. Is he joking or what? Prove that we met before. You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumps back, his eyes filled with uncompromising fear. How do you know my name? Damn, this can only mean one of two things. Either we have met and you are telling the truth and I just can't remember it, or you are a spy. He pauses. A psychic spy. His eyes dart around me, trying to peek into my room, although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. His mood swung from friendly to maniac in less than a minute. I'm not psychic. How do I know that? I'm not a mind reader. Kenji points a finger at my face damningly. Unlike you? Stop that, man. We met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Lies. If you think you can pass this, he's so because I am legally blind. You are lowly mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is real slim, maybe at distance, but who do you think you're kidding? I want to grab him by the shoulders and take him exasperated, but my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Stay there. Kenji comes closer, one careful step at a time. I stay still, lest he assault me physically, although I doubt he could do much damage even if he did. Oh wait, I see it now. Damn it really is you. Sigh again, and then once again, for good measure, I step backwards just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good. I think something's wrong. I don't know, just had something stupid at me. A few things, really. A few stupid things. Actually, even if you discount this one. I can't get a proper touch on the other people here, and... excuse me. And I have no idea if it's because of me or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling this to you, Kanji. It's not like we've had any contact either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all, but you can never be too careful. It's the hard reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think that Kanji isn't necessarily living in the same reality as the rest of us. You see, this is how it is this world. There is no justice, you see. Even when I lose, I win because I don't lose the lesson. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He dismisses it flatly with a wave of his hand. So, what happened? Why a long face? Do you have a long face? It's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally, literally too. She actually ran off. She actually ran away from me. Was my fault, really. I think I'm not really used to all this yet. A girl, a cute one? Cute? That's a hard question. She has a nice body, a really beautiful hair, but the face. I guess. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it. There are a lot of cute girls here, a strangely disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets of this school. I tried to warn you, men, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets? Yes, dark secrets, extremely dark, like a black hole. Have you noticed that the number of girls in the school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like 60-40. He turned his head to the left and stares off into distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I mean, to the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but that's full 20%. One would think that a school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no! What am I about to tell you could blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. No, I'm not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kanji starts talking again, showing that he doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that the school is a battleground, the site for feminist infiltration. Okay. This disparity in the numbers of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case this Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. Just another skirmish in the eternal war against the forces of the feminists. They're everywhere in Japan. Women outnumber men. It's not a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, men. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up the numbers in the past. The buildup of a military has always been the clearest sign of imminent war. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. The perfect target. They are so cunning and as unexpected of women. Soon the day will come when Kanji's voice trails off ominously. That is why you cannot trust them. They will string you along and then kill you just as they killed me. You will end up just like me. Oh, hell no. I can't stop myself from putting it out. Hey, what the hell does that mean? You said it, not me. It's the best I can think of. So you're not supposed to say something like that. Damn it, so rude. Where was it? Oh yeah, that's feminist conspiracy. Stop it. Stop. I lost you way back there somewhere around feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow. It's cool. I have some graphs and stuff in my room and puppets. You like puppets? No puppets. You don't like puppets? Okay, graphs are still cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. It's too strange. I had him pegged as relative norm, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be the last man in an insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that you can't be... That can't be because I'm the last sane man in this insane world. That is my dream. You can't steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be two last sane men. It would be invalidate that whole last part. And the part is kind of important. There can only be one, like in the foreign movie where there can only be one. And in the end, there is only one dude left because that was the point. I've never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Anyway, if you wait here, I can get my grabs. I also have a list of other dark and complex conspiracies that the school holds as tangled as quick. Finish my analogy for me. Be a pal. I'm going to go to bed now. I'm extremely late. It's extremely late. That's not like... But whatever. I like you. You seem like a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Anyway, I'll be right back. I need to blow my nose real quick. Alright, I'm back. Alright. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when they try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later. He claps me on the back and then vanishes into his room so quickly and quietly it's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked right through it like a ghost. Walked through it like a ghost. I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened, so I gave up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up so I can get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting inside against my cheeks and it feels good, just lying there with my eyes closed. The school is like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. It's just, I just can't seem to fit in. What irony, one would think that fitting... Shit. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off my empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more of a school and less a hospital pretending it's a school than I thought it would be. If anything else, the scenery is beautiful. I open one eye, seeing the school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desktop. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Okay, so this is a thing for the chapters, okay, or parts. What time is it? 7:14. Okay. Alright. I think I'll get to the next chapter, and then I'll save it and call it quits. I need to walk my dog and do a couple other things. I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Susan A. and Misha, I started doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that, though. Susan and Mishu might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head and see that Susan and Mishu are looking at me. Susan gives me a smile, the equal parts cute and menacing. This is the smile that says, "We have you now. There is no escape." Uh, Hee-chan, it looks like we're together again. Yay! She leans sideways and sees you pushing her desk closer to mine. There is really no escape now unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. What's wrong, Hee-chan? Oh, Hee-chan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hee-chan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Right? I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that's over. Susie snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's excitement with the back of her hand on an overly dramatic and important way. Now, I actually look at this stuff. It's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much considering the small amount of work. In fact, Suzune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, my left eye wanders around the room and catches Hanako trying to hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who? Hee-chan? Her? Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone? I think so. Hee-chan, do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Hee-chan. Why not? Hee-chan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that tilting up and down quality present in everything she says. But I need to empty out my trash soon. Misha's everything she says. Just because Hee-chan, by now Suzune has noticed our conversation and it makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying this whole time. Why? What? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that. You said it anyway. I knew Hee-chan it's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand a thing. Season A is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there is a never conversation Susan will be left out of? Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hee-chan. We finished with time to spare, and I decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly the food so far has been subpar. This sends Susan and Misha arguing among themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe they seem so distracted by that, but they don't seem to even notice the start of actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. Seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks, the one with actual boxed lunches mixed in chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels like I'm the only one who can see her, almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself for the rest of class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? I still forgot making her run away yesterday, so I'd better say something. Hey, I'm there, Hanako. Hazel? Well, at least she remembers my name. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. I didn't mean to startle you or anything. I'm just new here, and I thought I should get to know my classmates. As Hanako looks at me, I notice her scarring once more. It's a little bewildering that you can barely notice it from across the room, but it's also noticeable from up close. That's okay. It was my fault. Nah, that wasn't anyone's fault. It just kind of happened. So, are you waiting for someone? I saw you looking at the door before. Yes, Lily. Oh, you mean Lily, the blind girl. Hanako only nods in response, and I can't help but wonder if defining people through their disabilities is Fox Paws the worst kind of or just normal here. I guess that explains why Lily took off after her yesterday. She seems like a nice girl. Are you two friends? Yes. As if hoping for Lily to appear, she cracks over her shoulder again. I think I'm making her nervous again. I hope I'm not disturbing you right now. No, that's not it. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here. Oh, because it's hard to get around the classroom? No, not really. He's just past my shoulder and towards Suzune. Hanako nods again. What about her? Don't they get along? Hanako shakes her head. Clearly, this is something she doesn't want to talk about. It does make a strange sort of sense. Suzune and Lily don't get along so well. Communication between the two would be all but impossible. It's hard enough talking to Suzune through Misha, even when you can see whose hands are talking. Hanako is so focused on Suzune that I'm the first to notice Lily at the door. Oh, she's here now. Spins around to confirm this. Upon seeing Lily, she moves quickly to the door. Lily. Ah, Hanako, good morning. Is the president here? Yes. Hanako glances over her shoulder at Suzune again, as if to confirm she can't hear them, even though that's possible. I suppose we'd be best off then. Lily sighs, and tone of what seems like frustration makes me raise an eyebrow. I guess there's some kind of enmity between the two. It's intriguing, but that's not really something I'd ask about. I'm sure if they wanted me to know, they would tell me. It's only my third day here. I should be trying to make friends, not finding out why people are enemies. Still, it's a little funny to find out that this school has a little feud, just like my old high school. Even if people are more tolerant of others, they're still going to get on each other's nerves. Hey Lily, how are things? I'm sorry I made you run off yesterday. Oh my, is that Hiso? I didn't realize you were here. It seems that Lily is a little embarrassed about being so frank in front of me. Sorry Lily, I thought you realized. No, it's alright Hanako. Hiso, please don't worry about yesterday. It was just a misunderstanding. If you say so, I'm still working this place out. Well then, I think you'll find most people here are a lot more forgiving than elsewhere. If you are feeling a little confused, please don't be afraid to ask questions. Sure, I'll remember that. Lily? Lily gives a small nod of acknowledgement. I'm sorry, Hiso, but we must be off. Hanako really doesn't look all that comfortable here right now, and Lily still seems a little embarrassed. I wonder if my apologies really made an impact. Mind if I accompany you too? I know I'm kind of pushing it, but Lily hums quietly, still smiling. I'm sure that we could accommodate you, can't we, Hanako? She looks at Lily, then at me, and then freezes. She's wide-eyed. Sure. Well then, shall we go? I'm sure Lily wouldn't do this so easily if she saw how scared Hanako looks, but it can't be helped now. Calling after the deal is sealed would only cause confusion and problems. So we leave all three together. Lily walks beside the walls, letting her cane gently tap against it. Every now and then, Hanako comes along right beside her, so close that she's practically half hugging her as they go. Although it must make her walking that much harder, Lily takes it in stride. As we turn around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a steam train. Hanako shrieks a little, and my vision briefly goes black. Ouch! Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and is now falling down the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform is very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. Or she does, but are not flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone. Thighs end in shins and feet made of some black metallic and plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and natural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winches a little, rubs my nose, and jumps up. Aw, man, Hey, you alright? I'm sorry about that. Really. I wasn't looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forgot about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay, don't worry about it. Ouch. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. It seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds dumbfounded until I realize that I probably looked worse off than I really was. Doubled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I'm overly worried about my heart. There are no need, I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time for a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me, big time, but it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay. It's okay. I said I was fine and nothing broken. No harm done. Oh, that's good. So what happened? She's not quite up to speed for obvious reasons, but she sounds very worried, more than what the situation deserves, really. Someone just bumped into me. Nothing serious, just winded. Sorry, it's my fault. I was just going to get some stuff and I was in kind of a hurry. That someone here is Emmy, isn't it? That little girl coughs quietly and shuffles her plastic or metallic feet, looking down at them before saying anything. Hi, Lily. Hi, Lily. Hanako. I guess the girls know each other. Do please try to be more careful. You might be sturdy enough to endure those sorts of accidents, but there are people who aren't. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a child and caught misbehaving. It's so cute, I find myself smiling. I know that I was just... I gotta go. Teacher, I'll have my head. I promise to help with printouts, but I was running instead of... Sorry, I've gotta change and everything. Before any of us can say a thing, Emmy has already bolted away, leaving the hallway eerily quiet. Does that kind of thing happen often around here? There are more rules in Yamako than usual for running in corridors. but that rarely stops Emmy, it seems. She shakes her head weakly and offers a slight compulsive smile. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop her. I'm afraid. Shall we be off then? Lily heads off along the highway and Hanako hurries after her. The route of the room, the two of us for tea, is fairly simple to retrace, being still refreshing my mind from yesterday. Lily and Hanako quickly go about the business of making lunch. Before I can even open my small bag of food, Lily busying herself with her thermos and tea bags as Hanako is sitting out both their lunch boxes. So, is this what you meant by coming here almost every day? Yes, Hanako and I usually have lunch here. It suits both of us, so we end up using this room regularly. After seeing Hanako's reaction to me over the past couple days, I can understand why that is a boon. That and Lily being able to get some quiet away from her class as well. I take my seat last after Lily's poured the tea for us and sits down. The more time I spend with these two girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil to Misha and Suzune. Even without the voice, Suzune is direct and brash, and Mishu seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met. So, how are you faring in Yamaku Hisu? You seem to be a bit flustered before. Apart from getting lost every now and again and being crash-tackled outside my classroom, fine, I guess. You look pretty hurt before. Are you really okay? For a moment, I considered telling Hanako a little about my condition, but then I held it back. I can't really tell why, but for some reason I felt uncomfortable talking about it to these relative strangers, even if they have been pretty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expression, I don't think that they're buying it, but in what I assume is their way of respecting my privacy. They don't press the matter. I guess that's just one of the unwritten rules around here. Don't ask. Even if people's conditions are obvious, like Hanako's, there's still bound to be story involved. Everyone has things that don't feel comfortable speaking about, and I think everyone here recognizes that. So, how long have you been in the school? You both seem to know your way around pretty well. Well, I've been here since the start of high school, but only moved into the dormitories a year ago. Excuse me. Hanako joined at the start of the high school year as well and moved to the dormitories when she did, if memory serves me right. That's right, since high school. So you've known each other since then? Since I moved, yes. Hanako lives next door to me, so it's only natural, right? Right. Yeah, of course. Living next to someone is probably reason enough to befriend them, though I'm guessing that Lily blindness played a part in it as well. I can't imagine Hanako easily making friends with someone who has to deliberately avoid looking at her scars. With the media conversation dried up, we start to eat our lunch. It isn't long before the bell signaling at the end of break. Like me, the girls pack up their lunches as efficiently as they set them out. I guess I'd better be off. Are you going to go with Hiso, Hanako? Hanako looks up at me, and for a second I can see that she's considered skipping class, maybe just avoiding walking up to the classroom with me. Yes. I don't know what to think of it. Hanako really is delicate to the point of breaking if looked at the wrong way. It makes me a bit nervous too, but I push the feeling aside, trying to be natural as I can. We should hurry then. Class has already started by the sound of it. Lily gives a nod of farewell and she bends down to her cane, Hanako and I filling out before her. We walk quickly down the empty hall to our respective classes. As we reach the door to Lily 3-2 classroom, she turns towards me. So thank you for sharing lunch with us today. My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering her classroom and leaving Hanako and me to make off to our own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So, Do you want to go back to the class now? Yes. Okay then. I feel like I should say something more to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. And Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the door. I open the rear door to the class and walk in. Teacher looks at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in and closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy practically ignored. There is definitely something going on here. We make our way to our seats, and I notice that Mishu and Suzune are both missing as well. I wonder if it is some form of informal agreement with the staff or if it's perk offered to the unique students of this school. Trying to make a little disturbance as I can, I extract irrelevant textbooks from my bag and start catching up. Class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impressions I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd, at the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here filling considerably short hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves and I'm left alone with the teacher. Moto is examining assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Nakai? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I do after school. Teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen and he's holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clicking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodical, and for a brief moment, I'm reminded of Suzune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed and much more routine. You have no plans? No, I considered joining a club, but I don't know what kind of clubs would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Mato looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to make the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people, I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It feels like I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them. It's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek and absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever. Now I see him at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Suzune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in and hands straight an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with a bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Maotu, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Mishu in general slumps in the air. Mikaido! Misha stops in her tracks and looks around clueless as if she's sensing from the tone that something's wrong but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. Yes, but she doesn't lower her voice at all and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So what is it? We need We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little, but the time we just took it all and went with it. Now there's like none left there, so do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Suchan, I mean the president thought that a teacher would know if there is plywood. Was she wrong? Moto looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicating is terrible, like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open wide, blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there's any plywood in the schools, let alone where it would be if there was any. What should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya. I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry him from his cold dead... You'd have to pry them from his cold dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have time. We are so busy. She holds her head with both hands, looking as desperate as possible for a person like her without even noticing. She crumples the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't be fetching these things. There is so much to do, and we are failing behind the schedule. Moto looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to strings at me, focusing on a hard expression as if trying to say, go, make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. Oh, no, you can't. Thanks, Ichan. You really are nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her fingers, and looks very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Ichan doing here? Class is over and you should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh, no, it's not a detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hichan? No, I'm not. Is Hichan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Motu sighs deeply and feel like I have to help Misha. So, what do you need? Here's the list. I can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help you, but this has no implication of whether I'm joining the council or not. Oh. Still, thanks, Hichan. Trying to be quick. We are in stall building streak. Now we must hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with the number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting. That's undoubtedly Suzune's. I have a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classroom closest to ours are designated belonging to class 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side, 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Excuse me. Desks and chairs are all around the room, and a thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed with sunlight from the big window shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye and stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes and a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what makes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth open and ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think of if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned in the silence, punctured only by the wall of clock ticking rhythmically. Hello? The girl steps the fork in her mouth and now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello, I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls. I didn't think there would be someone in here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're in here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You were pretty observant, I guess it does, but who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Naki. Haiso Naki. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Ren Teziku. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me joking about these matters, doesn't feel appropriate at all. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl she seems to have lost interest in me and is now glazing yearning back at her food. Can I continue my lunch if you don't mind? I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are in the back. Go right ahead, but school's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There is no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? It bothers me very, very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go waste otherwise. I have curry, it's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Ren once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I came to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. I can guess I'm good at guessing, better than most people. Ren cuts me off before I can answer a question or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the school code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to seasonal circumstances or ladies either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be with an overly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window's side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary like this lunch of mine and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. What? This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement on the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Ren's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right, there's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? No! Still partially shocked but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Erythema. I said it, more like blurted out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glows at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would be much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. I forgive you. I click people, and a person with you know what kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people. People with different problems. Huh, you just go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from somewhere else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introduction, as expected of me? Hi, I'm Miso. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? Or, as if our disabilities would define us, what a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just as an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items in Misha's list, a chance opens to study Ren from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short, long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and lack of arms makes her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker relentlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows makes it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorbing all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly and as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Mishu's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable as I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh? And that's all I can think of to say. Both of us fell silent again. Rin forks the last bit of her meal to her mouth. I look down on my haul, double check it with Mishu's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you are going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. Uh-huh. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Ren looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tensuka. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Hiso. That then you are. Ren looks at me hard in the eyes, but that imitating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually looking at me. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hiso. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room as I shut the door in front of my face. I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled singing voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jumped at the sudden appearance of Mishu, who had not heard approaching despite the complete empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kanji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy theory. But I pushed that thought aside. Suze, standing slightly behind Mishu, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention. But Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who's in there? There's no club meeting today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Ichan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here, just going to bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Hichan. Who is in there with you? I wonder. Misha sighs something quick as he sees him, pointing at her a couple times. Immediately pushes her past me. It opens the door, and the classroom had just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Suzuno and Diligent and attitude, she insolent of daring to defend school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place, apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Suzune takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sigh furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if I was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello? Rin's voice came from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door and find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with half interest, half sleepy face. Hello? Miss Zanska, what do you think you were doing? You were absolutely not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crawhided in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Suzune and Mishu's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Suzune taps Mishu's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Suzune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. And? Well, think about it harder. As Misha sighs, her reply to seizing her face turns unsatisfied frown. Miss Tenska, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch into it. Oh, we'll think more seriously. Mishu actually giggles at that, but Suzune does not even offer translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Mishu in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. The end of the world as we know it, like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has and what are those apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at the huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need it? Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway with me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for us either. The hallway is quite empty with Suzune and Mishu gone, so we lead towards the stairway at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to the other because the tin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arm from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I'm walking weird because of the extra weight. Seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of a head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what happened? What a happy coincidence. Tezuka, you too, of course. He nods courteously to Ren, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who had some business with. There is something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handily delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about the interruption either. It's about your medication. Since you haven't been that long on your current medication, there might be some unexpected side effects which might require adjusting doses or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition. If it feels off or you get what I mean. Oh, excuse me. Nausea, headache, anything, and come see me if anything happens. Alright? So, how are you? Everything fine? I gave up and dropped the can to the floor before answering him. Apparently, this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realized how often I've done that. Other people ask me that too, and teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the students' base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You people, you have people spying on me. Not as such, I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and I lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. That stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tenzo, would you give us a second? Nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Ren's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yes, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. Oh, I know who it is. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale light fixture in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off of them. Are you getting medication for your heart, Thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. Nurse seems to be happy ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin's just staring past my shoulders, quizzingly, her head tilted like a bird. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me, but it feels like there's some implacable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Would they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a little while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital, it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Ren leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design at the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering, covering almost the entire length of the wall. But some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands, and I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stack of what seems to be paint cans are arranged and piled on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from the art class are helping with the negative spaces and bases and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there were a lot of people with hands. The reach is better and is faster too. She goes on a tangent, waving a little with her arms or whatever of it. There actually is to demonstrate, even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student base special properties has in the past few years. This girl doesn't notice my dairy feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, but just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and that it has to dry, and that it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she's made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project you did. You did this? Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumbled with my words, suddenly feeling like I walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. Oh. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blushed really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing anyway, but I don't think it is, but maybe I'm just used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she is using her feet to eat, I figured painting might be a problem. I figured painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us have anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I want to see what it looks like in dim lights. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat, like some people are no substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few girls, okay, but I get it, but I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if anything to look for something up there. As if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports tracks, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Suzune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every part of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paint. You can do that probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, these people have some. Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Hard thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. She sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wooden brush between her toes of her bare of her barefoot right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paint flows lazy from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny hypnotic-looking swirl patterns, and melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Ren sets to work on every now and then, asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. And a half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green, this green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. It's a green, good color to add. No idea. You're the artist here. A smile appears in the corner of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just I have no opinion. It's just that I have no opinion. It's okay because I got an idea to add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream but can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow? Despite the impossibility of mixing colors like the change of seasons or other nonsense that is being composed in me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments of having between mixing paints, crouching down on the paving, and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Ren doesn't seem to mind at least, but maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the walls to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing the paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using word impromptu, code words for various paints and hues. As if there was some need to conserve words and breath and sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. Alright, I think this will be a good opportunity to save. Yep. Save. Save. Okay, good. Alright. Let me swap areas. Alright. I want to thank whoever was here during my stream, during my first playthrough at Katawa Shoujo. My thoughts so far, it's really good. It's so far, it's living up to what people have been talking about it. My two favorite characters so far is Rin and Hanako. Hanako, I have a soft spot for that type of character. It's definitely the more protective side because of how shy she can be. Just the shyness of it. It feels like something you need to just protect. And then Rin for the smugness and her forwardness and not caring what people can say. It's like she. Anyway, yeah. So far, my favorite characters is Rin and Hanako, and so far, I'm really enjoying the game. It's definitely something I'm gonna continue to play, and I will continue Katawa Shoujo tomorrow around the same time. Um, yeah, or I might have it at 3 o'clock. Anyway, I will have things all ready by tomorrow, and we'll have things sorted out. Uh, excuse me. But I will be start tomorrow. I need to get that video all edited and uploaded tomorrow. So I'll catch you all later. I'll blah, blah, blah. I'll catch you guys later. Bye bye.